afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime with Dr. Nadine. And today I'm featuring another lady joining us all the way from St. Lucia via the United Kingdom, via the UK. But before we get into the introductions, as usual, we would like to know where you're joining us from for lunch today. And so, of course, drop it for us in the comment section. Let us know where in the world you're joining us from as we feature our guest, Cynthia Ramjeawan, joining us from St. Lucia via the UK. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Collins. Good afternoon or good morning, good night to everybody. I'm so elated to be here. I could hardly sleep last night, just waiting for this moment today.
Oh, it's such a beautiful blessing to have you here. I know your excitement kept you up, but you're bright
Yes.
and shiny today, and we're just excited to have you with us. We have Linda joining us for lunch from South Africa, so I know it's from dinner time on her end. We have Donna joining us from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Donna, lovely to have you here as well. And so, Cynthia, I am absolutely sure that our ladies would love to know a little more about you since they're having lunch with you. So tell us a little more about yourself.
Okay, so I've been introduced. My name is Cynthia Ramjeawan. I was born in the UK, but now I live on the beautiful island of St. Lucia. You can say I'm most probably vacationing every day. I am in full-time employment. I work in the justice system. I'm also a mother of two beautiful children. My daughter, that they would not forgive me if I didn't mention their names. My daughter's name is Abrielle, she's 11, and my son's name is Gabriel, and he's 7 years old. And as you are aware, I am also the founder of Virtue in Nature.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So Cynthia, I'm just wondering how did our lives intersect? Because I know that I believe you are in my women's group, the WOW Women's Leadership and Empowerment Group, and I know
Yeah.
you came into one of my programs, and we'll talk a little more about that. But do you remember the point of intersection or anything? It sounds like mathematics, but yeah.
The point of intersection for me is one day I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw a post that you put, and it was along the lines of women, but Christian women, their purpose, and you brought in the concept of a table. So you have the table, but instead of seating at the table, you need to bring your own chair. And I was like, my own chair to the table? That means that there's so much within me that I can bring, that I'm actually bringing my own chair. So that is where the connection started.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's crazy because I think that would have been maybe about 3 years ago, something I remember. End of year, I was on a radio station and they were asking me some questions, and it came out of my mouth that sometimes we fight for a seat at the table, but instead we should just walk with our own table and invite other women to come sit with us, right?
Right,
And so
right.
I think that would have probably been the post. So I said it that day, and then I realized, oh wow, yeah, why don't we just begin to have our own tables and invite women to sit with us, trying to fight to sit at somebody else's table, right? Beautiful.
Right.
Awesome. So, okay, so you saw that post, and somehow or the other, we got into some kind of connection because I remember hosting a challenge, a 5 day, I believe it was a Wild Women's Challenge, and you
Yes,
were participating, really
yes.
deeply participating.
Yes, yes. Because at that time, as a mother of two and also a wife, there
Mhm,
are a number of commitments that come in the way.
mhm,
And raising a family, it takes a lot of your time. But the
mhm,
thing about it, as the dust starts to settle down,
mhm,
you become more comfortable. Well, I can say I became more comfortable and
mhm,
I wanted to pursue something, but I wasn't too sure exactly what I wanted to do, if it was academics, but
mhm,
then there was more of a spiritual calling to do something. So
mhm,
that's why when I saw the post also, I said, aha, I had a aha moment there. And I said, I think this is what I should be doing,
mhm.
pursuing my spiritual purpose as a woman.
Okay, okay. So now we had the challenge, and I promised that for the, I think it was maybe the first woman or the woman who participates the most, we would actually, because I believe the year before I had done it, and the top 10 ladies were the ones that I began with in the Runway to Soul coaching experience and
Mhm.
received a massive transformation in
Yes.
2020. Now, in
Yes.
the time when you would have come into Runway to Soar, I promised that we'd have given it the prize to one. But when we had done it, there were two ladies, you and another lady, and I
Yes.
realized, you know what? I had given already the prize. I'm like, let me just give the two prizes. And you came into the Runway to Soar coaching experience. So when you came in, what were you looking for? What did you want to do? Because I know, okay, you just mentioned wanting to pursue spiritual purpose, but were you on that journey of just finding out your why, what I'm meant to do? What were you looking for? What was happening in your life at the time too? I'd love to know.
Hmm. Well, I was looking for my purpose, and it basically more or less came out of a very traumatic experience I had in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what it was, I had a serious mental health crisis in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And for a number of years, I think the Lord was impressing upon me, Cynthia, you know what, you need to get this message out there because this can help somebody. Because I
Mm-hmm.
would find that randomly people would just approach me. I mean, complete strangers, eh? They would just approach me and they would strike up a conversation. And it always led onto mental health and what they were experiencing. And then I would actually say, well, you know what, I had a similar experience to you. And I think that this is what you are, this is what you may be going through. So that was one of the things I was looking to see if, in truth and in fact, God was calling me to share what happened to me, which was very, very private. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not even something that I would really want out there
Yeah.
because mental health, you can say, people can say what they want. Mental health, it has a stigma attached to it.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
true.
I said, okay, Lord, I'm going with your leading. And let me just share something with you. I said to the Lord, I prayed about it when I saw the competition and everything. And I said, Lord, you know what? If you really want me to share my mental health experience, make me win that competition.
Oh, girl, really?
And
So
so
you,
said, so said, so done. And I was
oh,
like,
wow.
okay,
And you never
okay,
told me that. I just got chills. You never told me
yeah.
that.
I prayed about it. I
Wow.
did pray about it. Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. So definitely we know that this is what God wants you to do. There's no doubt about it. Because
Yes, there's
I'm
no
convinced
doubt.
out of all the women who participated, the other lady, we actually gave it to her after we gave it to you, but you were the number one person there that received the prize. And I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's crazy. So now
yeah.
you touched on something that's really important, right? You mentioned mental health, which for sure, as you said, has a stigma attached. It's a taboo topic. And it's always funny. Like my husband used to present on health, and I would hear him say, you go to a church, you ask everybody, how many people here maybe had diabetes, hands go up.
Right.
How many
Yeah.
people had this or that, hypertension, this, their hands go up. And when you
Yes.
talk about how many people suffer from depression, everybody just looks around, looking at
Yeah.
everybody, no hands go up. So you're so right, where we have this kind of, we try to disassociate from
Mm-hmm.
dealing with these things of on issues like mental health, when
Mm-hmm.
really, as we go through life, there are times when we will have to be face to face with issues like
Yeah.
sometimes anxiety, depression, and so on, but we don't talk about it. There's so many things we don't talk about. I don't get it. And these are
Yes.
the things that affect us so badly.
Yeah. Yeah. You are correct. And in particular, the area that I'm focusing on is anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I knew
Yeah,
what fear was. I knew what worry was.
yeah.
Anxiety, I just associated with it. Sometimes, when your palms get sweaty and
Mm,
you're a bit nervous, but it goes beyond that. It
mm.
goes far beyond that. So I
Wow.
really wanted to address that because I'm finding that. adults do not know. A
Mm.
lot of adults are suffering, actually suffering with anxiety, and they don't know. They don't know what it is. They don't
Wow.
know how to address it. And for the children and young people,
Mm-hmm.
even more so, they do not know. Anxiety is a beast. It's
Yeah.
just like tame the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn the dragon. And after you learn the dragon, then you can manage the dragon. So it's not all doom and gloom, because anxiety can actually propel you
Mm.
to do positive things,
Right.
you know. So
Yeah.
once you understand what it is, then you are better able to manage your anxiety.
Awesome. We'll come back to that because I want us to really go into that a little more. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about your journey. So you went through the Runway to Soul coaching experience.
Mhm.
What was that like for you? And how did it really help you to get the transformation that you were looking for?
Okay. So the experience was wow. It was wonderful in that it caused me to dig very deep, very, very deep. It was painful at times,
Mm-hmm.
but these things need to be done in order to get you to where you need to be. There
Mm-hmm.
were two areas which really had me thinking. One of them was, who am I?
That's
And
module one.
oh my goodness. And faced with all of that information right at the beginning, I said, this is not going to be an easy ride for you, Cynthia. When I discovered that I confused my purpose with
Mm,
fulfilling roles,
mm,
role as a daughter, my
mm,
role as a wife, my role
mm,
as a mother, my role as an auntie, a cousin, whatever it was, as much as within it was possible, I would try to fulfill these roles to the best of my ability. But then, who am I? Who am I? With when you take away all those roles, you strip me of all those roles. Who am I? And that left me, honestly, Dr. Collins, with a blank sheet of paper.
mm,
Even more so because of what transpired when I did have the mental health crisis. You
mhm,
will find that really and truly, I forgot who I was.
mhm,
Even in those times, I would look
mhm,
in the mirror, I would see myself, I know who I'm looking at, I would know my name, but who am I? I
mhm.
didn't know who I was. So
Wow,
this got me to dig deep, 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 and bring up a lot of things that I didn't even remember were there.
wow,
So now I'm stepping forward more confidently
wow.
in the purpose that God has set before me. You said something very important once, and sometimes you said sometimes your story comes out from a painful place. I
Mhm, mm.
couldn't be more right about that. So
Yeah,
I don't throw a wet blanket on anything I went through.
yeah.
I went through was building me up in order for where I am today.
Wow. So the who am I, that first module kind of shook you up, but you
Yes.
didn't give up because I know you showed up for our accountability sessions. I know you went through the program and everything like that. And so you didn't give up. You did not cower down when you had to go do the dirty work of digging and really looking at everything about you, looking at you from the inside out, which is
Yes.
the way that we're able to be so much more effective when we're able to just have that awareness of me. Because when you
Yes.
have that awareness of you, especially when we remove the roles and that I mentioned there, and that you remove these roles, you're faced with Cynthia Ramjeawan in the mirror. Let's deal with you right now, girl. So that was one of your greater moments. Do you have any other aha moments? Anything that really like just blew your mind or really set you on the path of this is what I'm supposed to do and this is how I'm supposed to do it. What was the journey like for you in just discovering different aspects of things that you need to be the woman that you are today, showing up more confidently? I know you were so excited about today. A
Yes.
little nervous right before we came on, but you were confident. I know you chose your outfit how many days ago? You sent me the
Yes.
picture. So you were looking to just get on the stage. Come on now, Talk to me
Yeah.
about your other aha moments.
Yeah. The other aha moment I would say is in going through the course, it revealed to me that sometimes we think that we have to maybe go and do a course and do this and do that. Not to say that we shouldn't build our muscle,
Yeah.
not our physical muscle, but our mental muscle. But in looking at my purpose, a lot of what I needed to establish virtue in nature was already within me, and I didn't realize.
Right.
So that was another aha moment for me. And
Yeah.
that's why now I put work into what I do. But to be honest, it gives me such a joy and everything. Everything is more or less running seamlessly because,
Yeah.
in fact, I am doing what I love. I
Yeah.
love working with young people. I love speaking. I love educator, although I'm not a teacher, I'm not a trained teacher, but I like putting material together. I love being creative. I love designing. So I love being in nature. So everything goes together. So when I
Yeah.
go to bed at night and I said, Lord, in your hands, when I wake up in the morning, He's just downloading every morning, just
Yeah.
downloading more
Yeah.
information. And I have to be running around with my notebook. I took
Yes.
a cue from you. I have a notebook in the kitchen. I have a notebook in the bedroom. I always have a notebook in my bag. I don't want to miss not one download. I have to write it all down.
My language, girl, it's
Yeah,
like
I have to write it.
it passed on to because I'm like, you ladies know me. And we have Donna there, one of my former clients. We have Claudia here as well, one of my former clients, Jamila, and all of them. You ladies know me. I don't want to miss no downloads. So I need that notebook by my bed so I can
Yes,
wake up in the middle of the night and write. I tell you, last week I had a download and I was trying to repeat it in my mind because I didn't want to wake up. And in the morning time, I repeated it enough. I'm thinking usually if I repeat it enough, then it will go into my long-term memory.
right.
But I didn't write it down. And then the next day I'm like, but Lord, you gave me this great idea. It was so amazing. And I know it was so sweet, but I really wanted the sleep. At the time, I was just trying to just take the sleep. And so you're so right. A lot of times, and I'm so happy that you took that with you and you're practicing it every day of ensuring that you always have stuff to write on because the divine downloads will come at any time and we don't want to miss
Yes,
nothing because
yes,
every time he gives you a download, it's always packed with goodness and can never
yes.
go wrong. So I'm really excited for you. Jamila says the notebook always. So she's using getting making sure she have her notebook too. Good stuff. So I love a few things that you just brought up there about purpose. And part of that is that because you're now operating in your divine purpose, it's effortless. It's not like we don't have work to do, because I was up until after midnight, almost 1 o'clock, working this morning. But the
Yeah.
work I'm doing is effortless work. It's just I'm doing a lot of work. And as you
Yes,
mentioned, when you're operating in your purpose, it takes less energy and
yes,
mental less, let's say less energy, and also you have more motivation because you are doing what you are aligned to do. So there is
right.
an internal motivation. I'm working on an article right now, I think my newsletter for LinkedIn, and I was talking about purpose being its own motivation and inspiration. Because when you're operating in purpose, you don't have to look outside yourself because everything
Mhm.
that you need, you like you said, you already have it. And
Yes,
that
yeah.
is the beauty
Mhm.
of what you just said about purpose, in that a lot of times as women we want to discount ourselves, like how you said you question yourself about, you know, I didn't learn this or learn that. We discount ourselves because we think we didn't do the formal education, we don't
Right,
have formal experience. But purpose
right.
is closer than you think
Mhm.
because it's already there with you, so you don't have to search too far. And so I love that. I'm excited for you and your journey. So what are you doing right now? Talk to us about, you have that purpose uncovered, you know exactly what you're supposed to do, serving people in that space of mental health, specifically on the topic of anxiety. What
Mhm.
is that journey like for you in terms of the work that you're doing right now with children and adults?
Okay. So right now I'm trying to establish a speaking platform. I've had one or two speaking appointments so far. I have one or two upcoming as well. And basically, I'm putting out the message. I'm putting my story out there.
Mhm.
And I am basically sharing this is what mental health looks like
Mhm.
when you're in a crisis. I know
Mhm.
there are, I mean, the majority of people will not reach to where I was, but
Right.
I'm identifying what it is. What is anxiety? You're fearful, you're worried. It goes over, it goes over a number of days. It can go for a number of weeks. How you feel mentally, how you
Mhm.
feel physically, what the effects are on you, how you can identify that, I need to get help. I need to seek assistance from somebody.
Mhm.
But I'm breaking it down to the point where a child will
Mhm.
be able to understand. Because I believe that I don't see anxiety. When I said earlier on that anxiety is a beast, it
Mhm.
is a beast in a way if it is uncontrolled. All of
Mm.
us have anxiety on a daily basis.
Right.
Student that is sitting down right now who hasn't studied for the exam that is coming up next week, they have anxiety.
Mhm.
It's how you channel your anxiety. Are you just going to sit there and say, oh, well, this exam is coming up and I know I'm going to fail because I haven't studied? No, you're going to first identify this is anxiety that I have. Why
Mhm.
do I have this anxiety? It is because of X, Y, and Z. So you're not going to sit there and cower in the corner. You're going to get into action. That's
Right.
what you're going to do. You're going to plan the way forward from today until next week, Wednesday, when the exam is. This is what I am going to do. But
Mhm.
there are so many other areas. I mean, that's just a simple example.
Wow.
Then you deal with social media, how the social media is affecting our young people. Then you're
Mm.
looking at the younger children who are growing out of some of their anxieties in they're afraid to sleep in the dark.
Mm.
These are things that we can grow out of. But
Oh.
yet still, we need to realize, we need to recognize that this is what we have
Mhm.
and provide solutions to it, then you
Mm.
provide a solution to it
Right.
in that moment. So this
Mhm.
is what that I am trying to do through the public speaking.
Mhm.
Also, there are some other areas. I think you're going to question me about it a bit later, which I am also looking into.
Okay. Oh, the
Basically,
thing
I
is,
sorry.
go ahead.
I'm hoping that my story, as I am transparent, as I'm just being totally transparent with what happened to me, that it will assist somebody,
Mhm.
especially if they're struggling. Especially if they're struggling, they have to know that they are not alone. And I'm also hoping to break down the stigma in the communities as it relates to that anxious person that you see
Right.
walking on
Yeah.
the road or in your household
Yeah.
also, because it
Right.
affects the household.
I believe that your topic is relevant. The feedback is amazing. Shout out to my cousin Zinga Lucien. This is my cousin, my sister cousin. We grew up together. I love this girl like crazy. She's saying very relevant topic, especially as we survive the pandemic. So just
Mhm.
imagine something you went through so many years ago that you're now focusing on as you realize this is what God is calling you to do. But we're living in a time when people actually need what you have to share with them about that. Donna is saying, you're doing a great work, but she said she can relate with her younger self and she thanked God that she overcame, meaning that she may have also experienced anxiety and had to deal with that. Um,
Mhm.
Cynthia is saying, well, Claudia is saying, Claudia, because she was in the program with us, mental health can impact children and young people, especially facing traumatic experiences like divorce and separation and stuff like that. And so
Mhm.
these are all critical areas. Ladies, thank you so much for just your feedback here. All of this is just affirming the work that you have been called to do, Cynthia, for such a time as this. How
Mhm.
are people relating to or reacting to your message when you get out there, when you talk about anxiety, because we usually do not like to deal with these issues.
Yes, the feedback has been great, absolutely wonderful so far. What
Mhm.
most persons are saying, you're very brave in order to open up and speak about your personal life in the way that you're doing. And other persons have been saying they never realized that, in fact, they may have been suffering from anxiety,
Mhm.
but they couldn't actually identify that it was this. And also, a person have been saying this is also good for the young people. The young people really need to hear this, especially in the time that we are living. So yeah, the feedback so far has given me fuel in order to go forward. Most definitely.
Awesome. I mean, I'm excited to hear that because I know it's not all the time that people embrace the message, and that's quite fine. It does not devalue the message because
Yes.
and I'm really excited for you and all of the ladies I get to work with. You just, every single one of you, just speaking about these topics that are so taboo in our society, that are so personal, and yet sometimes we ignore it. But now you're using your voice to be able to really help others to be able to go through maybe periods in their life and circumstances in their lives and come out on the other side being better, because we don't usually talk about anxiety. I don't know, did you know that Regina King lost her son? He committed suicide recently. I think it was maybe January 19th, somewhere there about. It was his birthday. And one of the things I noted when I read an article about the young man, a few days before he died, he said that Instagram was not good for me. And this is a young man in his 20s. And so you mentioned the issue of anxiety, and I'm thinking about social anxiety and the fact that young people are bombarded with all of these perfect lifestyles
Yes.
on the gram, and it's making them more anxious. And so I think your message is so powerful. And as you
Mhm.
spoke about the kids from the program, I know you said that your ideal client, what's the age of your ideal client? Because there may be a lady listening right now who has a child who might fall into your ideal client category, who may need your support. There may be church leaders or other community leaders listening on, and they're dealing with young people. What is the age of your ideal client?
Okay. So my ideal client is between the age of 5 to 35. It's quite a big range.
Okay.
It's quite a big range. For the younger children, I try to break it down as much as possible. I've
Okay.
worked with younger children for a while within the church, as far as I can remember. It's just younger children. I just love working with younger children. So I break it down as much as possible between
Mhm.
5 and 35. But can I just mention something? You
Mhm.
said sometimes the message is not accepted by the crowd. But I'd like to say that if, whether I have to speak to one person, one on one, a group, a crowd, a mass, as long as the message gets out there and
Mhm.
somebody is impacted by it and they receive also a level of healing
Mhm.
in order for them to continue, this is what the desires of my heart.
Absolutely. I totally support that. You know that I am going to, when it comes to feedback, tell you that that ideal client range is way too big, because I know it
Yes.
was smaller. I know it was
Yes.
small, it was on the kids, and you should focus on them. It doesn't mean
Okay.
you cannot speak to older people, but if that's your desire, if you love children so much and you feel called to be able to work in that sphere, you kind of want to build programs to help them, because it's going to make you more in demand in the work that you're doing, etc. Definitely speak to the adults and everything, but have a focused group that you have, that ideal client that you're serving, so that your services can be like just a list kind of services for who you're serving, so you know exactly how you reach them. But I mean, I am amazed, and I do believe that there's work to do with the adults. But I pray for continued guidance for you, that God shows you how, if you're going to serve different groups, because the needs of a child at 5 and somebody at 35 or 30 is like so different. The
Yes.
message is the same, and that's
Yes.
why I'm so excited about what you're doing. I mean it. You have to have a lot of skill to be able to present programs for a 5 year old, and yet do it for the 20 something year old and the 30 something year old, and still be able to reach all of them, you know. But I'm excited for you. Now I want to know, how can people reach you? Because you have a message. And so if somebody has a group of women are listening right now, and they want to invite you to speak to the ladies groups, or somebody wants to invite you, because I know you're developing programs for kids, right?
Yes.
So I
Yes,
know
I am.
you have some kids programs already, because I remember you posting it in the group for feedback. And I'm excited to hear about the kids programs. And you can just share briefly, like in a minute, what is the kids programs that you have currently, and how can people find you?
Okay, so I can be found on Facebook and Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Virtue in Nature, and
Mm-hmm.
also LinkedIn. So Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn is Virtue in Nature.
Okay.
I also have an email address, virtuein@gmail.com.
Okay. Awesome.
And I also have a telephone. You can get me on WhatsApp at 1758 732 2637. That's 1758 732 2637.
I literally just dropped all of your stuff in the chat so people can get your Facebook, your IG, your email, your telephone number, and stuff, so that they can know where to reach you. Can you just briefly tell us as we close, what is the program you have for kids? So people, you can find her here at Gmail. If you check in the chat, you're going to get all of her social media handles. How can people know exactly what they're booking you for as it relates to the program you're doing for the children?
Okay, so for the children, I would start with the project first that I'm trying to start on. I would really love to get into the schools
Okay.
and establish a program where in which I could most probably visit the classes one on one and have a rapport, have a little program going on. Also, a big thing that I'm trying to work on is actually a camp, a summer
Mhm.
camp right here on my property in Babano. It is absolutely, yes, ideal for that. Absolutely ideal on the vein that I believe that nature has a
Yes.
big role to play in how we balance ourselves. You're in
Right.
contact with nature, you're in contact with God. Let me tell you, God is the greatest healer. So
Mhm.
this is something that I am working towards. I'm hoping that COVID will give us a chance so that we will be able to get out there and
Mhm.
engage in some seriously super fun activities with the children. So
Awesome.
these are they. And apart from that, the
Mhm.
speaking program, but the speaking at the level of the child, at the
Awesome.
level of the child. It's almost as if when you go into their school environment, you try your best to fit yourself on the little chairs that they have in the classroom. So
Mhm.
breaking everything down right to their level to make them understand. It can we also incorporating the arts, so your creativity, all right? So your drawings, everything, because you when you actually do things with children practically, they tend to understand and learn more. So
Awesome.
creativity, your science experiments, all of this
Mhm.
surrounding the topic of anxiety, but
Mhm.
just packaging it differently in order for them to understand at their level.
Awesome. Cynthia, it was a blessing having you today as we finish up our lunchtime series. I just want to let you know that other ladies who are in my speaker mentorship program, in my book coaching program, Runway to Sub program, they're cheering you on, but they're also wanting to connect with you. So you could always go back and check out the comments. Marva in the UK is saying this topic is relevant for the field in which she's in. She's a social worker. You can go in there and connect with Marva. Marva worked with me. She was in my prayer class, the speaker mentorship program, now the book coaching program. Jamila, one of my other clients, who was in the prayer class and the speaker mentorship, and now in the book program. She says she wants to get in touch with you about her niece post grief anxiety, and so these are ladies who want to connect with you, who would already have ideal clients that you can use, because Marvel works with children as well in the UK, and Jamila has her niece there in St. Lucia as well. And there are many other ladies online, I'm sure, right now who will be needing your services, because I'm sure you offer virtual services. And so I just want to say how proud I am of you that you have braved it to use your voice to speak on a topic that most people shy away from. And so we wish you continued blessings in your work and in
Thank you.
all that you do. And ladies, thank you, because without you, we would not have a lunchtime forum. We're happy and excited that you have joined us all the way from the African countries to the Caribbean, North America. And we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow when we host another lady. Actually, tomorrow we will host in Mava. We look forward to seeing you here tomorrow at lunchtime. Cynthia, all the best and God
Thank
bless you.
you. Thank you.
Bye.